Hello, hello, won't you tell me your name? This is Wade, and you are in Wade World, the true world. So, if you want to find out what the clown world is up to, there are a couple of guys you might want to check out. A couple of men CoffeeZilla, Iron Carol, and the latest issue from this penguin dude. And of course, as always, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, and countless ones. But here's a video on how crime works. If you saw Wade's earlier video that all government is mafia, you would have started understanding that there is no fair government. Those who rule by virtue of their ability to be more powerful than you. In an honest system, they would tell you this, and then your life would be much simpler. But now you're in a system where Charlie Kirk is assassinated and you're told one guy did it, where Epstein is allegedly commits suicide and you're told one guy did it, right? It was just Epstein and nobody else. And then you get a treasure trove of documents that show there are multiple very powerful people, most of them Jewish, who were involved who have not been charged and will not be charged. And the government lies to you. Now, here's the problem. Remember, the problem all boils down to the world that you are living in is a world of girly men, not masculine men. Why does Wade say this? Because these girly men have put forth this entire illusion of equality, democracy. These things are so horrible. Women are wonderful unicorns, men are evil. They've put forth this narrative to gain your emotions and gain your power. Right. But they themselves live in the real world where they know that powerful men do immoral things. Powerful men do things that are not acceptable to the majority of the people. And the whole problem that happens in your government telling you there's nothing to see here, trust me, bro, and move on, or I'll destroy you, is because the fake reality that they want you and force you to accept clashes with the reality that actually exists. Now, if you're a young FBI, CIA, police, or your intelligence agencies in whatever country, right? You join and you're like, yay, I'm going to do justice. I'm going to do great. You're in the Army, Navy, whatever, Air Force, and you're like, I'm going to do the right thing. If you are that kind of man, you will definitely come at some point in time to a pathway where you do the right thing and you're punished for it, or you catch somebody doing the wrong thing and somebody from above comes and says, good job, buddy, but you need to stop and we're not going to punish these people. Wham! That's when you realize that this is all a bloody circus. It's all a clown show. It's all a joke. You apply the laws, and the laws are applied selectively. But when it really matters, justice is not really prevalent in a girly man system. The perfect example is Jeffrey Epstein. There are also many other perfect examples when men doing the right thing, the objectively right thing as per their duty and their role, have been punished in various levels of government, military, civilian life, just for speaking the truth or doing the right thing and literally doing what their job entailed. They were punished for it. Right. With the Jeffrey Epstein case, you can look it up. It's very, very hot now. They've released more documents and they've forgotten because there's just so much they're trying to hide, right? They've forgotten to hide the things that they needed to hide. So in the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they say the only names redacted, blocked out, are the ones of the victims. But now it seems they've blocked out a lot of names of very powerful people, billionaires and millionaires, who have again contributed both to the left and the right, both to the Democrat and the Republic Party. And in your country, whatever is the left, right, or if you have 20 parties, these people contribute to everybody. Now, the thing is, you are being sold lies by these people because they're afraid to be honest. If they were honest, the world would be much simpler because they'd be like, hey, this is how power works. We have the money, so we have the power. You don't have the money, so you won't have the power. And because we are already in power, if you challenge our power, we will fight you. Right? Because that tells you a very specific kind of model that is aligned with reality. Like, okay, these guys are powerful, or, I'm a powerful guy, this guy's not powerful, or he's powerful, I'm less powerful. So you have to make a choice whether to do something about it or not. And then if they're powerful, which is the honest truth, right? They can be like, I'm going to do this. Or you could decide to fight. If you win, you can change the system. Or you win and you lose, and the system stabilizes itself. This is called being honest. This is called being honest about the true nature. Now, are there some things that are completely unacceptable from a pro humanity standpoint that these people do? 100%. But especially in the Epstein case, this is a bunch of guys being blackmailed because they themselves propagate a morality that is at odds with nature. They propagate the morality that men are evil and oppressive. They propagate the morality that women are super wonderful, innocent unicorns, and we must treat them as such. While in reality, they treat girls like dirt, and they definitely control the world, and they understand that men control the world. We control the world. We have the monopoly on violence, on intelligence, on willpower, and on just being mission oriented. Right. So what happens is they try to please you and control you into keeping them in power without getting into resentment that is very honest and forthright. Remember, if there's an honest power structure, you know, like, hey, this is the power structure. So if you disagree with it, you have three choices: agree it and make your peace with it, fight against it and win and change it, or fight against it and die. All of these three choices lead to a stable system because the power structure is very honest. This power structure, if you look at the Epstein case, the FBI is lying, the cabinet people are lying, then you've got ex-presidents implicated, you've got billionaires, they're all lying and protecting each other and just saying, there's nothing to see here. And if you question this, you're insane. Just drop it. Why they have to do it is because they have all implicitly accepted this system of, let's just pretend and let these people not be resentful, and we will work in the shadows, which is again an approach of girly men. If you have a problem with conflict, if you can't handle conflict, you're not a masculine man. If you can't take an action and then back it up with violence or back it up with force and be ready for the outcome, like you win or you lose, right? You're not a masculine man at all. And this is nothing, that has nothing to do with girls. We're just going to discount them completely. This is basically a battle between masculine men and girly men. And God's design itself puts masculine men in the minority, but they have tremendous power and tremendous gifts. So they can run civilizations on the very few numbers of masculine men there are. And then we come in times like this where the vast majority of men who are girly men, who are not masculine, they are given control, and you can see the absolute mess that they create. So you might be a recruit in the police force, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, in the intelligence services, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do good. And then as you work and as you go through life, you realize there is a limit on what you are allowed to do. And good itself is not really the point of your job. Your job is control. The faster you realize this, the more you can choose which of these three options, because even now you have these three options, right? You can fight, you can accept it, or you can fight again. And if you fight, you can win or you can lose. Right. So all of these complaints that we are seeing, that the government is lying, the FBI is lying, arrest them, arrest these people, it's because you're living in a fake simulation of reality. Remember this, democracy has only been become worldwide, common, and spread around since the last 450 years. It's not a natural state of things. People are inherently unequal. They have different attributes. And with the rise of democracy, democracy is fantastic for girly men. That is why democracy is always one step before tyranny, because at the end, the girly men also run out of tricks and they have to face the fact like, hey, we got to fight, man. We got to fight. Like, you know. So democracy is literally a system built on the lie that your vote is equal to everybody else. It discounts your ability, your intelligence, your contribution to the civilization, your contribution with regards to the family and the civilization. It definitely taxes you because modern democracy doesn't come without a central bank, which is a private bank run by private people, lending money to the government, and then forcing the government to tax you to pay them. It's a great scam, right? So, democracy, central banking, and income tax, permanent income tax. And all of this has a veneer of pay attention to these half naked women dancing on TV. Oh, this cool guy in the movies. Creators are great. Creators have a gift, but creators should not be exalted above royalty and warriors. That's the you're living in a society where clowns, entertaining clowns are exalted above royalty and warriors and infrastructure creators, builders. Nobody who's building bridges is exalted, but movie stars are exalted. You understand? Because this is the strategy again of the girly men to keep you distracted. Like if you are a man of presence, charisma, a man of the world who can actually make a change, they try to distract you into becoming a movie star and a musician. Like you might make music, you might like making music, you might like making movies. Wade likes making music, but that is not a calling for the lifetime of a man because that is inherently optional. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity for civilization to survive. No civilization ever destroyed itself because it ran out of musicians or ran out of actors. It's never happened. Definitely got destroyed when it ran out of men willing to fight, warriors, men willing to build, infrastructure builders, and masculine men, men willing to protect their right to reproduce and protect their people, right? So you're living in this clown world where you are sold this bill of nonsense that democracy is the best system, everybody's equal. Oh, men are so evil, girls are so angelic and good. Oh, we should all totally do this. So it's all virtue signaling, girly man bullshit, right? And you're encouraged to believe in the system and punish when you don't. But when you actually come across the fact that the people who are telling you to follow the system break every single law that they impose upon you, that makes you mad because then you understand that the system at its core is like every other system. You don't have power, they have power. They can do whatever the hell they want, and you don't have the power to do anything against them. And worse, unlike the honest system, because it's so hidden, it takes you so long to understand this that you don't even realize, like, oh my God, I'm living in a system and I'm powerless. Like, these people are literally, they don't rub it in your faces, they try to lie about it. But even if it comes out, what are you going to do about it? Is it legal in your country to organize an army and overthrow the government? Probably not, right? It's in a democracy, in a liberal democracy with banking and income tax, right? So these people are dishonest in a girly way about how the world works. And that leads to most of the problems that you're facing. This frustration that you're feeling, that none of these people are being punished for these horrible crimes that they're doing, it's because you don't have any power. And if you really want to test the system, like if you want to test if your democratic system is really better than the which is a mafia, destroys your life and tries to throw you in prison or basically straight up execute you, right? Multiple people in this Epstein case with Clinton and everybody, multiple people have just suddenly died, mysteriously died. Multiple people in the Charlie Kirk case have mysteriously disappeared. In fact, it seems that Charlie Kirk was killed by a shaped explosive charge a month after he was assassinated. The entire factory that makes those explosive shaped charges, which look, which act like bullets, it exploded and killed all 16 employees. And a day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the guy in charge of the factory quit and he has just disappeared from the world. Like he wasn't disappeared, he has disappeared. Do you understand? So this is all like a show. It is so complex. And there are so many distractions. Like, what would you rather watch as a man? Nicki Minaj with shaking her ass, or this thing, right? What would you rather do as a girl? Have some Starbucks and talk about the latest video on TikTok, or actually think about this? Bread and circuses, they understand it, they lie about it. Unfortunately, because it's a girly man system, it always reaches that point of conflict. The question is, do you have an alternative system that can withstand this? Do you have an alternative system that is more stable? Do you have leaders who you can look up to and say, all right, we want to give you our power? Because that's what you're doing in a democracy, right? You're electing. Although if voting really mattered, it would be illegal. Many elections Many elections have been nullified until the people vote right. If the people keep voting incorrectly, treaties are passed. If the people still keep voting incorrectly, the guy they vote for is compromised. If they can't compromise that dude, they kill him. The only time when they're successful is if the guy lives a long life, keeps his country under control. But when he fails, because he fails to build a system that is not dependent on him, whether it's Genghis Khan, whether it is Alexander, all the systems they build fail within 1 or 2 generations because they don't build a community based on race, based on common shared values. Right. In fact, the only people who have stayed together for 6,000 years are Jews who are extremely racist and extremely ethnocentric. And way doesn't mean extremely racist in a bad way for anybody, by the way. It's actually the natural way that all of us are. Jews are just honest about it and they apply it very well, and it helps the community a lot. So props to them, right? They just tell everybody else that it's evil, but they apply those things to them, their own community a lot. So they're strategically cunning, right? So if you live in a system built on lies, built on girly men, then your only options to have a stable system that actually perseveres is to have an alternative system, an honest system. A reset is required where the bloody barista working at Starbucks doesn't think that she's equal to a rocket scientist who's designing spaceships that go to the moon, right? It will require a massive psychological reset, and it will require not only a leader, but a race and a system and a culture that keeps generating the same kind of leaders through birth and meritocracy, right? Until then, that's the world you live in. You try to do good until you realize you don't have the power and it's all a facade. So, if you're frustrated about Charlie Kirk, if you're frustrated about Epstein, if you're even frustrated about JFK, Huey Long, and Woodrow Wilson getting the world, America into World War II, or Germany, what happened to Germany, what happened to Russia, what happened to Italy, what happened to the UK after it won World War II, then you have to understand this system needs these components to survive thousands and millions and billions of years. You need these components. It's not just gonna happen. You can't just rely on one leader to help and save you. He himself has to institute that system. So until next time, if you're frustrated, remember you are living a lie. The faster you understand how the world really works, the faster you can make a decision on whether you want to accept it or change it. And if you want to change it, well, Wade is here to lead you on that journey. Keep it cool, keep it smart, and as always in Wade World, enjoy.